And right now it's time for that time when we talk to our special guest. Tonight our special guest is Martin Leach and his wonderful magazine called the Ponsonby News. This magazine has a print run of 16,000 per month and is enjoyed by thousands for its high quality and professional presentation of all the gossip, goings-on and community events in the Ponsonby district. Martin Leach, welcome to The Beat Goes On.
Thank you very much.
I'm a big reader of your magazine, Ponsonby News.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I know that you're the founder and one of the mainstays behind that organisation. And I finally had to say, let's get Martin on the show to tell us, as a baby boomer, what a great job you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
A wonderful job.
Thank you.
And we talked about baby boomers. How old would you be now, Martin? What's are you a baby boomer?
Yes, I was born in 1953.
Oh, you're a classic.
A long time ago.
Now, I was 47, so that makes you 6 years younger than I am. You must be around about 61.
62, I think.
62?
Yeah, I think I'm 62. I always forget.
Yeah, but what a great generation, eh, Martin? What do you think about us baby boomers?
I love the baby boomers.
Yeah.
I think they're such an interesting group of people.
Yeah,
That's
wonderful.
I did a bit of research on that when I was in London because I published an HR magazine and we were always trying to find out what made people tick.
Yeah.
And baby boomers were always worth
they were doing
researching.
Things, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Forget Generation X. Generation Y?
Yeah.
It's us.
How did it all start? You were a New Zealander?
I'm a New Zealander.
Yeah, you were born in New Zealand.
I was born in New Zealand.
For England early, didn't you?
But I went to London when I was 18. And
loved it?
Loved it. And came back in 2001.
Now, how many years did you spend overseas?
29.
29?
I was away.
Gosh, what was it like when you got back?
Do you know, I was reticent about coming back to New Zealand, but it's the best decision I've made in my life now. So I came back at a good time.
What kept you in England for 29 years?
I had my own business there. I published business-to-business magazines, and I published a very good HR, human resources magazine, and then I did a global human resources magazine, and I also did a publication for entrepreneurs.
Wow.
We did 3 magazines and we did a lot of brand extensions like we'd have dinners, conferences, events, exhibitions, that kind of stuff.
So when you got back in 2001, starting Ponsonby News, you had all the tools and all the knowledge.
Yeah. I didn't start it though.
Oh, okay. So
it began in 1989. It was a chap called John Elliott started it. So I had a meeting with John Elliott and I just said to him, I love your publication. I'd like to help you in some way with it. So he said to me in the first week, would you like to buy it? And I said, well...
You like the company so much you're trying to buy it. Yeah.
Would you like to buy it?
Yeah.
And I said, look, I'd like to work with you for 6 months to make sure I'm enjoying the job, so to speak, the work. And so I worked with him for 6 months, and then I bought the business in July 2004. And at the time, he was producing 8,000 copies. I increased the print run to about 10,000. And then over time, we now print 18,000 copies.
But here's a whole pile here. But I mean, it's gone from a community newsletter, which would have been pretty primitive, was it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't staple it.
Yeah.
And he
staples.
And he didn't have a totally colour formula. I always have had colour. Now, ever since I took it over.
Look, it's well produced, it's beautiful, it's professional, and so many people wonder, how can a small community like Ponsonby...
Yeah, there's only Ponsonby News in our area. There are other magazines who are devoted to other parts of Auckland.
But none of them have got a magazine as good or anywhere as fantastic as Ponsonby News. So that's the compliment to you, Martin.
Thank you.
So what do you think, what do you think the secret is?
I think it's a bit of everything. We've got a good team. of people. We're all quite passionate about the area.
Yeah.
We care about Ponsonby. We care what happens in our community. When I say Ponsonby, I am including Grey Lynn,
yeah.
Herne Bay, St Mary's Bay, Freeman's Bay and Westmere, and Arch Hill where I live as well. That's all
Well, that was going to be my next question. Do you live in Ponsonby?
Yeah, well, I live in Arch Hill.
Which is pretty close.
Which is not far from Ponsonby. I could walk in 20 minutes to Ponsonby Road from my place.
What's the vibrancy about Ponsonby?
I think Ponsonby has always been an interesting area. I remember when I left in the 70s and my friends were all at Elam Art School.
Yeah.
They all lived in Ponsonby.
It was cheap, wasn't it?
It was cheap back then.
And you could buy a home for about what?
You could buy a home for 20,000 back in the early 70s.
And now you couldn't get one for under...
Well, the prices are going up all the time.
I mean, they're all $1 million properties now, aren't they?
I bought a house on Crummer Road in 2001 for $450,000. I could not believe how cheap it was. Yeah. We had just sold our place in Notting Hill for a good price.
This is in England, Notting Hill, yeah.
And we bought our place in Crummer Road. Jane Usher was one of the only people that I knew in Auckland. She was the photographer on The Listener. And she pointed to this house and she said, "Buy that house." And so we bought it.
Yeah. And if you sold that house today?
It'd be worth, close to $2 million.
Gosh.
Prices have gone silly.
Well, let's get back to the magazine.
Yes.
This is not a real estate show.
No.
It's a Ponsonby news show. What's the feedback? Tell me about, what a great magazine. Tell me about the feedback.
The feedback that I like to hear is firstly from our advertisers that it's worked for them. The other feedback that I love getting from people, a lot of people say to me, there was no community in Ponsonby. You've kind of helped to create that.
You fused it all together, haven't you?
You fused it all together, and I hadn't thought of it like that before, but I kind of like the fact that we are bringing the community together, you know?
Now, if 3 of our viewers were lucky enough to win a subscription...
Yes.
And it arrived at their door, is it posted out?
It's posted out.
Wouldn't that be wonderful if they could win it?
Yeah.
So... let's have a little competition.
Why not?
So we're going to ask 3 of our viewers to email Gerard at thebeatgoeson.co.nz, and in the subject line, this allow them to qualify. They just put Ponsonby News.
Yes.
Ponsonby News.
Yes.
And we'll have a draw, and we'll give 3 of our viewers, and they'll receive every month
a copy
of Ponsonby News.
Apart from January, when we take a bit of a break. They won't get one in January,
So
Gerard.
you produce 11 a year.
Yes, we do.
Wow. Now, just to finish off, Martin, because time's just flown, hasn't it?
It has.
A day in the life of Martin Leach, coming to work, it must be enjoyable. Tell us about a quick day in the life.
It is. I love my job. The thing I don't love is all the emails I get. I get 100 emails a day.
Wow.
And that is a lot of email to sift through. Out of 100, there's probably only 20 or 30 that are really important, and the rest is...
I'm glad you read my email when I emailed you.
But no, we have a little office on Richmond Road, and 4 of us work in there together.
Yeah.
And it's great fun. No day is ever the same.
No, I bet it's not.
We have a lot of people coming and going, and I love it. We
have run out of time, of course, Martin, but the future. How long do you think you'll keep going as a staunch baby boomer?
I will probably work for another 10 years.
No, that's good on you.
I think.
Yeah.
I think I've still got get up and go. So I still enjoy going to work.
Yeah.
Why would I change that?
Exactly.
I'm working in the area that I love, doing what I enjoy doing, publishing magazines. It's the best job in the world.
And it's the perfect area for a long lunch.
It's the perfect area for a long lunch. Where do you like going in Ponsonby if you go to lunch?
Well, funny enough, I just went there the other night. It was a Thai restaurant called Tie Me Up.
Tie Me Up?
Yeah, great, beautiful food.
Yes.
And and I was sitting outside, and the stream of people going up and down Ponsonby on a Friday night. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
And then, of course, the Shanghai Lil. That's a great place to go.
Yes, for us baby boomers.
For us baby boomers. we do pick out the
There
places.
are a lot of bars. Yeah. There are a lot of bars and lots of restaurants. There's lots of opportunities to go to new places.
Yeah. But look, before we finish, once again, a wonderful compliment, wonderful magazine. I read it and I think, wow, somebody's doing a great job here, and now I've discovered who's doing it. Martin, we're going to see you again in the future.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Martin. Coming up next on The Beat Goes On, we celebrate the